First and Now is a presentation of World Vision Canada, official charity partner of the BC Lions. You can head to bclions.com/worldvision to become a supporter. We're off this week, but we still have a podcast, and it's a good one, if we don't say so ourselves. We're going to hear from Micah Awe, linebacker, back with the Lions, needs no introduction. Deontai Williams, maybe a guy some Lions fans not as familiar with, but we're going to get you familiar. Nick, a couple of good interviews in the bank here that we want our fans to hear.
Yeah, not only excited to have these players on the team this season, but also excited to get to talk to them and get to know them a little extra. So these players are both physical. Whenever I'm looking to, to edit, hype videos, trailers you have that, I'm always looking for the biggest hits. And I'm going to say that Deontai and Micah are going to be a part of that this season because they definitely bring it on the field, and good guys all around too off the field.
Micah Awe, one of those guys, if he's on your team, you love him. If he's not on your team, you don't love him so much. And that, to me, is a sign of a guy who plays his role pretty well, plays at 100 miles an hour, plays to the whistle, maybe a little bit on the edge, but still clean. And, just this identity that Ryan Rigmaiden, Buck Pierce, Neil McAvoy wanting to build have to get a little bit more nasty in key areas. And these two signings in the opening hours of free agency back on February 11th kind of epitomize what that plan's all about. And Deontai Williams has a cool backstory himself. His father, Roosevelt, was his connection into the CFL. Of course, spent the last couple of seasons in Saskatchewan. So without further ado, you're going to hear from first Micah Awe and then Deontai Williams on this special edition of First and Now, presented by World Vision Canada. And off to Texas we go, back with the BC Lions as linebacker Micah Awe. In fact, week one of this coming season, we will be facing the Edmonton Elks, and if all goes according to plan, it'll be the 100th regular season game for Micah, according to our records. How about that, sir? How are you? Good to have you on First and Now.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. And I did not know that stat. That's crazy. Wow.
Well, that's what we're here for, to provide as many historical nuggets as we possibly can. And it's great to talk to you. Talked to you a few times over the years, of course. We're going to call this your fourth stint coming up with the team. Started here in 2017, went to the NFL, New York Jets in 2018, came back. So that's your second. And here briefly a couple of years ago in 2022. But just your excitement and what drew you back here the most, Micah, in free agency?
Yeah, I mean, you said it's my fourth stint. I think my sixth team. So, but like 4 of those times I was trying to get back to the BC Lions. I'll never forget the first time I stepped out of the airplane. I mean, even before I got off the airplane, the first time I saw the beautiful mountains over Vancouver and the cities and stuff, I'm like, I literally thought, I thought this was just on the movie sets. And ironically, that is where a lot of movies are shot. Saw Batman there one time actually playing against BC Lions 2 years ago. Saw a couple other movies being shot. I know the 100 is the library that's in Surrey. Anyway, so Vancouver's always been home. It's where I've always tried to land every year. And, football's business, things happen. But at the end of the day, you work hard enough and you're persistent enough. And I got blessed to be able to come back to the BC Lions, come back to the Den.
Go back to 2017. You just had a stint with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a training camp preseason the year before. What led you to come up here originally? Obviously, Ryan Rigmaiden, who's now your general manager, would have played a big role. But what went into that decision to try Canada out back then?
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of jump back to the first time I heard about the CFL. And what had happened was I believe the first preseason game I had, which was against the Philadelphia Eagles, I had hit a certain quarterback, Carson Wentz, as everyone knows, and I fractured his ribs or something like that. And that next day, my agent was like, hey, these 2 CFL teams want to sign you. And my first question was like, what is CFL? Like, what is this? So that was the first time I heard about the CFL, and surprisingly, and I was like, just kind of like, okay. And then, a couple months later, it worked out that like the BC Lions, they were still interested. And I was like, all right, let's give it a go, because football is football. And one of the best decisions of my life is to come up here and play in the CFL.
Yeah, and Calgary is where you took your game even to a higher level. An all-star in 2023, a couple of epic games against the Lions, a couple of Western semifinals. How much did you grow the last few years with the Calgary Stampeders?
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to watch film actually of the 2021 season when I was with Coach Benavidez in Ottawa, and just looking at your film when you're younger. When I came in 2017, everyone has the mindset, oh, I'm the best, I'm as good as I'm going to be. But 8 years later, 99 games later, I'm still trying to perfect the game of linebacker. And being in Calgary, Coach Slowick was a huge. He really helped me develop a lot. He's a great coach. His son is obviously the offense coordinator for Houston Texans. He's coached football for a long time, and the one thing with him that I've always kind of taken with me throughout my career, but he kind of emphasized was, you'd never act like too much. I mean, we were doing super basic things all the time, and that's one thing that I am going to be bringing to the BC Lions is I'm going to just be doing bucket work. I'm going to be doing stuff that, whatever we do training camp day one, I will be doing, Grey Cup week practice, because that's what makes you a better football player. It's all about development too. I mean, development is a huge thing in athletics, and I just feel like if you aren't getting better, you're not giving your a chance to continue what you love to do. So it's fun. That's why football's so exciting to me. So it's something I love to do. That's why I'm on 99 games, because I love to do it. But I also feel like I haven't reached my potential, which I know sounds crazy, but I really truly believe I haven't reached my potential.
I was listening to your end of season media availability, Micah, with Calgary last season, and you talked just about that. You said you had a responsibility to be the best that you ever are coming up into this upcoming season. I'm guessing like those are some of the things you're kind of emphasizing, the fundamentals, or is there anything else that you're working on or training on with your body this offseason to be the best that you're ever going to be?
Yeah, I mean, exactly what you just said. It's one thing. It's one of those things I was, talking to someone else, and I kind of look back at my career, and, history repeats itself, and you can also make history repeat itself for the better. And, one of the things that got Texas Tech to look at me, even though I was 6 foot, 185-pound linebacker, was my speed. I mean, it's see ball, get ball, run to the ball, make plays. And, going through the recruiting process, even in college, going through kind of the pro football, you hear like, oh, you got this linebacker is big or bigger and blah, blah, blah. Like, you got to focus on what you're good at. You got to focus on what you're special at. And, I might not be the tallest, I might not be the biggest, but I would say I'm one of the fastest. So I got to do what got me here, which is get to the ball as quickly as possible, as fast as possible. So being fast and physical is going to be what I kind of bring back. And, looking back at my 2017 film, I had that fire about me, that rookie fire. And that's something I want to bring back too, is just, playing kind of just freely and playing with just that intensity of like, I love to do this, which I still do.
And despite this being your fourth stint with the Lions, you have not overlapped with Coach Mike Benavides in BC. But like you said, in 2021, you had Benavides as your defensive coordinator in Ottawa. So what did you, and at the time you went off for, it was at the time your career high 73 tackles. You smashed that with Calgary. But back in Ottawa with Benavides, what did you like playing about, or what did you like about his defense playing in it?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, because I look back at some like my stats, and Ottawa, because that was the COVID year, so that's 73 tackles over 14 games, which was, I think that was third in the league at the time, overall. And I also had 3 sacks, 3 interceptions or something like that. So I had a lot of big splash plays with Coach Benavidez. And what I like about his defense is that it's simple, but it's also confusing to the offense. But it's simple for the defense. And he's able to adjust as needed and all that. But, most of all, it allows me to be a linebacker. It allows me to be off the ball. If I see something, I can go get it. If it allows me to make plays behind the line of scrimmage, because that's who I am. I'm truly like a run and hit linebacker, and I'm so excited to kind of be back in this defense and kind of take what I did in 2021 with his defense to a whole new level, and see if I can't do something that hasn't been done before.
And you mentioned Texas Tech. That's obviously where you went to college. Before we get into your playing days there, petroleum engineering, that's your degree you got from Texas Tech. What interested you about that? And what exactly does that entail? I can admit I don't know too much about that whole industry.
Oh yeah, I mean it's simple as put. In Calgary they kind of knew it because it's oil and gas. That's really all it is. There are three main disciplines within the petroleum engineering, I guess, degree, which is drilling, production, and reservoir engineering. And I was more of the reservoir engineering, which is basically put in some computer systems and you model and you kind of like basically put all these models in to figure out where the oil is. And I'll never forget my first day of when you take like your classes towards your degree. I had this like hour and a half long lecture. I'm writing notes. I'm trying to soak in all this information. I'm super confused. You remember all those days. And the last thing my professor said, Dr. Watson, who actually played at Cornell University, football anyways.
Wow.
The last thing he said was, at the end of the day, you just got to drill the hole. And I'm like, and in a lot of ways, what he was saying is a lot like football. I mean, you're going to go, you're going to study your opponent. You're going to, figure out all these little nuances of your opponent. You're going to, all right, I got to do this. I got to do that. But at the end of the day, Coach Benavidez can only call the call. At the end of the day, I got to go make that tackle. I got to go run to the ball. I got to go do that. So, engineering, even though people might not think it's like a big overlap for football, to me, it's a huge overlap. It really simplifies the game for me because I use that engineering mindset of learning. But then at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, I got to be a football player.
It's an interesting analogy. Yeah, very. No matter what occupation you're doing, it probably holds true, right? I mean, the study room, the film room is an important one, but have to go out there and still do it at a high level. That's very interesting. And yeah, petroleum engineering, a little bit above what you and I are used to. And I talked to you about this back in going into 2018. I wrote an article for BCLions.com just about you were, I think you in the off season, you were taking another course or you were upping your qualifications, you were finishing it off, and then you ended up going to signing with the Jets not too long after. So good on you.
Yeah.
On the topic of Texas Tech, what games that you played in there with the Red Raiders come to mind? Some of your highlights on the field.
me and my wife were just talking about this. I forgot what movie we were watching or show or something, maybe documentary. They were saying like the games you remember the most are the ones you lose. And at first I was like, I don't think that's that true for me. But then it's like, she asked me, all right, what's the first game that comes to mind? Same as that question. And I was like, oh, TCU game, which was my first win or my first start my sophomore year in college when Sammy Waban was injured, who's, in NFL now. And I came in for him and we were playing TCU. It's about 95 degrees and we lost 86-26. So yeah, I mean, I guess one of the biggest loss, but she wasn't even talking about that one. She was talking about my senior year against TCU, where we were up by 2 points or something no, we were up by 6 points and TCU drove the ball all the way down the field. This is like no time left. It's the last play. They had Trayvon or Boykins or the quarterback. And they threw the ball to their top receiver. and the ball's like 10 feet in the air, and our DB does a great job, tips it, and the ball's coming down, and everyone starts cheering. And then here comes, I think his name's Aaron Green, the running back, and just catches the ball, tiptoes. I'm talking about, I still don't think he was in. I still don't believe he was in, but just tiptoes in the back of the end zone, and we lost. And they were like ranked number 5 that year. Like, it was crazy. So yeah, that's one game that comes to mind. So that one, and I guess the more positive note, even though we did lose, was my last game actually in college, which was against LSU, against like Leonard Fournette and a couple other guys that they had, Jamal Adams. And I had my best game ever at 17 tackles, like 3 tackle for losses. It was a fun game to play.
It won't remind Tyler Gammon about that one, the big LSU fan. Hey, March Madness coming up here pretty much this week. Texas Tech enters as a 3 seed, I believe. High hopes for the Red Raiders on the hard court here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember the first time I ever did a bracket was in 2019. Someone was like, hey, Micah, you want to do a bracket? And I think they were just trying to get my money because they knew I was new. And I was like, yeah, I'll do a bracket. You know, me being a Texas Tech guy, I was like, Texas Tech's going to win it all. And that was the year they went to the championship and played against final, Virginia. Yeah. So I won all that money. I won like $1,000. So, you know, Texas Tech all the way again, because that's what they do. We play really good basketball at Texas Tech and football.
I think there's an obligatory question we got to ask, but you obviously saw this back last month. I was with the Moj down in New Orleans for Super Bowl. We got up to Patrick Mahomes on media night, and Moj, like usual, starts name dropping Pete Robertson, Micah Awe playing up in Canada, and Patrick. I think he said Pete's a mentor, but Micah was a great player too. Is it still surreal to see what Patrick's doing with his NFL career and being a teammate with him back at Texas Tech?
You know what? Yeah, I mean, it is because, and I don't think it's really hit me yet, just because I played with him, and to me, he was, don't take this the wrong way, he was an average quarterback, like not average as in average. He was a Texas Tech quarterback. They're all really good. Like, it's what I had to deal with in practice. But it what hits me is when I'm like in a random places and I see a Kansas City Chiefs jersey and it says Mahomes, and it's like, man, I'm in the middle of nowhere. And here is this jersey, and like, I play with that dude, and he's a baby goat. And no, he's. I always tell people he's a great guy. Like, what you see on TV and his leadership and stuff like that, he's just a winner. Like, that's really what a lot of us at Texas Tech had, was that winner mentality. Because why play football if you're not trying to be the best? And I love that about him. And I also played with Baker Mayfield the 1 year he was there at Texas Tech, and he's a ferocious winner as well. So he's a little bit more feisty, but he's a good guy too. So Mahomes, seeing his jerseys everywhere and how people talk about him, it's awesome, but he deserves it completely because that guy works so hard. He works so hard.
Shifting gears a little, Micah, I was going through your Instagram, and Purple Shift Alive. That's something that you founded and created. Just maybe talk a little bit about what it is and why you wanted to, help athletes with Purple Shift Live.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to like my story at the end of the day. Just real quick, it's, everyone has like pro days going on right now. The combine happened a couple months ago. Like, the CFL combine's about to happen, I think, tomorrow. So I had the pro day because I wasn't invited to the combine, and obviously, a huge part of that, especially for a linebacker like me, that's a little bit undersized, is you got to be able to run and jump. And I ended up jumping a 39.5-inch vertical, 10'7" broad jump. So everything's going good. I ran a 4.2, like a 4.25, 5.10.5. So now it's the big Kahuna, which is the 40-yard dash. I run it. And I immediately go to my friends and my niche coach, like, oh, what you get me at? What you get me at? Everyone's like, oh, low 4.5s, 4.4. I'm like, perfect. That's what I needed, being an undersized linebacker. But unfortunately, no one really tells you the time because the scouts are going to keep that to themselves. But there's a website called NFLDraftScout.com, which is like the holy mecca of combine numbers. And I it, I knew about that website, forgot about it, and then the day I was getting cut with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so skip about 6 months later. So I'm getting cut. I'm actually in the office of Shelton Quarles, who played for the BC Lions back in the 90s. He was the Grim Reaper, is what they call him. I think he's still called the Grim Reaper because of what he does. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the TV screen and I see the depth chart, and they have Levante David, and they had Adarius Glennon, who actually played with Calgary two seasons ago, and then me, third string will linebacker. And all they had was our name and our 40 times. That's all they had. And the 40 time they had, though, was 4, I think 6, 7, which I'm like, wait, I've seen that number before somewhere. And if you go Google right now and you go on NFLDraftScout.com, you look at Micah Awe, you'll see 4, 6, 7. And the crazy part is that Tampa Bay wasn't even at my pro day, so they're going to take that as real.
Yeah.
Fortunately, there's also rumors that, well, not rumors, it's pretty much fact that Texas Tech has a fast turf, so a lot of the scouts add 0.2 to your time. And so to me, It was like, hold on, like if this number is so important, why don't we standardize it? Why don't we just have it as where no matter where you run it, it's all timed the same exact way. So that's what my app does, is that you can just take a video and then you submit it to us, whether it's a 40, a 5-10-5, a power clean, bench press, like whatever test you want to make. And then we verify it that way. If you and your buddies want to say who's the fastest guy for the draft order, you don't time each other because obviously your buddy's going to cheat. Why would he not cheat? You turn into Purple Shift, and Purple Shift gets a time for all of you. And then now you have a draft order. So that's where the story comes from. I just, football, especially pro football and sports, should be objective. It should be the best guy plays. Coming to training camp every single year, I don't care that I'm 8 years. I don't care that I was a rookie. It's all about competition because competition breeds champions. So and when competition breeds champions, the product's better on the field. It's better for the fans to watch. It's better for everyone to watch. So why not have the best guys out there with real numbers? So that's where Purple Shift does.
Very interesting. Hey, a couple more minutes, but where does your social media handle Awe and Chardonnay? Where'd that come from?
That's one of those embarrassing like teenager / college reasoning, which is all right. So there was an artist, he's still alive, called Roscoe Dash.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he had the song where he says it's the Marvin Gaye and Chardonnay. It's called Marvin Gaye and Chardonnay, I believe. So then I was like, oh, you know what rhymes with Awe or Chardonnay? Awe and Chardonnay. So that's a total I never changed it because I'm like, that's who I was. But he actually did end up following me on Twitter. So that was one of those things, as a college student, I'm like, oh my gosh, Roscoe Dash just followed me on Twitter. So yeah, that's where that comes from. I don't actually drink wine at all. And I think one time there was a wine company or group that followed me on Twitter. They were like, hey, what kind of red wine do you like? And I was like, I actually don't drink it. I have no idea what you're talking about.
They're expecting to see videos of you twirling your wine glass and sampling it and spitting it out like Sideways, the movie. That's what they're probably wanting to see from you. Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome, though. Figured there was a story behind it.
Yeah, Roscoe, that brings me back to high school, man. I was a big Roscoe Dash guy back in high school.
Yeah. We're learning. We all remember. He had some solid hits.
And yeah, absolutely. And we're learning more about you every day here. It's awesome. All right, before we're finished, Nikki here has some rapid fire Texas questions for you.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was listening to you and Reggie Beggleton talk about there's 4 segments of Texas, right? The Dallas, Houston, Austin, and San Antonio, right?
Yeah.
That's how you describe it? Yeah. So just I've actually never been to Texas myself, so I'm going to use this as a little intel here. But if I'm looking for barbecue food, what area am I going?
Oh, immediate Dallas. You got to say Dallas.
Dallas, okay. So, yeah, because you ranked Dallas number 1 too. And I think there's probably going to be a theme here with that, because next question I would have is like the best, like kind of like sporting event or stadium or what have you. And I'm going to eliminate Texas Tech too, just to make it unbiased.
Best sporting, you can't go with Houston. Sorry, it's just the Texans they're good. They're all right. You got to go with Jerry World. I mean Jerry, because next to Jerry World, you got the Ranger Stadium, you got Six Flags, you got Hurricane Harbor. I'm talking about all within like less than 30-mile radius. So you got to go Dallas again. Although Austin, I haven't been there as much, but Austin's pretty cool. I think they have the MLS team, but they don't have University of Texas is there, but I'm not going to support them.
Yeah.
Very quickly, I've been to Jerry's World for a Super Bowl media day. Not very spectacular to be in there, but not for a game. Went to a Houston Texans game. The tailgate scene was pretty awesome.
Solid.
Yeah. Very solid. The stadium, once you're inside the stadium, it's just another stadium as far as I'm concerned. True. But the tailgate in Houston, very good. Yeah.
Okay. That's true, but you were talking about tailgates. You probably wouldn't say Texas Tech. I'm sorry, I know I can't use it, but college tailgates will always be better.
Yeah, you can't compare the call. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's just crazy. They're camping out 1 week before the game. Anyways,
if you're going, next question. If you're going on the water, like any like beach areas, where are we going here? Is that like Galveston? Should we recommend that, or is that an overrated? Or
okay, well,
what do you got for us?
Technically, I have to say Houston because Houston's the only one that has the coastline, like technically the ocean. But Galveston doesn't have the clearest waters. But, it's actually a pretty big deal in my wife's family. So I'm going to go with Galveston just because I know they're going to watch this video. And I'm obligated to say that. So I love Galveston and I love Houston, Texas waters. Yes.
And lastly, so when you were with Reggie last year, you ranked Dallas, Austin, Houston, San Antonio is what you had. Is that still the order of best places right now?
Dallas, Austin, Houston, San Antonio.
That's what you had, yeah.
Yeah. But Houston's starting to grow on me. Austin's getting a little bit busy, and it's like a shakeup. It's like the Big 12 in football. Like everyone's strong because San Antonio is not as expensive, but it has great food for like nothing. Oh man, so I think that's still the order, but they're starting to compete down there. Like I think it's Dallas is a clear cut, but then the last three, it's starting to kind of compete. So I'm gonna have to ask me this a couple months later.
Gotcha. So why did Reggie just said it was corporate when he said Dallas? Is that because it's just like the biggest city? That was just one word for Dallas.
You can't talk. You can't mention Reggie. Reggie is from. He's not even.
Well, Houston's pretty corporate too, isn't it?
Where?
Houston's pretty corporate too, is it not?
Actually, you're Houston, the city, is actually one of the few cities in America that they have no residential buildings. Yeah. It's just corporate. So you're technically right. Houston's straight corporate. So I don't know what he's talking about, but he's also not from any of these big four. He's basically from Louisiana, if you want to be real. He calls it East Texas or Southeast Texas. But once you get into swamps, there's no difference between that and Louisiana. So I don't even count him as part of Texas, honestly. So don't take his opinion.
Well, we'll have to get him on next time, and maybe you guys can have another fun
settle
debate.
it on the field. Yeah, I'll talk about it on the field this year.
There's if we're talking, I remember going to Houston. One of my good friends lives down there. El Tiempo was a favorite restaurant for Tex-Mex. I don't think it was a chain. It was just a neighborhood place. Very good.
I haven't been there, but ironically, anywhere in that southern part of Texas, you're going to say the exact sentence. I don't think it's a chain, but it's really good. So yeah, I'm in Katy. They have one here that's really good. But the best Mexican food is by far it's San Antonio. Like I live in a town called Castroville. Go look it up on the map. You can see like the whole neighborhood within like one little zoom. But we have 4 taquerias in one town that has like less than like 5,000 people. So it's crazy because you just choose whichever taqueria you want to go to that day, and it doesn't really matter because they're all really good.
I'm getting hungry now. It's lunch break. It's time to
catch a flight.
yeah, exactly. Hey, we will off-season arrow up maybe next year. Texas, you never know. I'm just saying. All right, Micah, this has been great. It's great to be back on your team, and we can't wait to talk to you again in Kamloops in a few weeks' time. Thank you, sir.
Yep. Thank you all. Really, really love this and appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, Micah. See ya in Kamloops.
Linebacker Micah Awe joining us on First and Now. All right, and First and Now, a presentation of World Vision Canada continues, and we welcome in a newcomer who's a true newcomer to the BC Lions. Just heard from Micah Awe, a name familiar, but if you're not familiar with this gentleman, I'm telling you, Lion fans, you're going to be familiar real soon. It is defensive back Deontai Williams joining us here from his off-season home in Jacksonville. Deontai, welcome. How are you?
How you doing? I'm doing fine, man. Fine, enjoying this weather down here.
Yeah, I was going to say, bring some of that sunlight up this way. March can usually be kind of gloomy up here, but not quite like Regina, where you just came from, of course, but it's going to be hot in Kamloops in a few weeks' time, a training camp just around the corner. Just talk about your excitement level, Deontai, and what led you to the Lions.
Man, just when I came to this CFL league, just watching from Saskatchewan Rough Rider point of view, I was like, man, like this team's like it's almost close to like an NFL team, to be exact, because you got the Dome Stadium, you got the black and orange colors.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's just much like just giving that love and passion, like yes, like this is football. This is what football all about. And then the Lions, I always see them as a contender team that's always competing to be on top to get that Grey Cup. And me just joining the team, that's the number one goal, just to get that Grey Cup, maybe go back to back, you know. But I know I'm gonna enjoy my time with the BC Lions.
What about some of the other veteran guys who are here? Gary Peters, I'm sure you've talked to him over the years. Ryan Phillips, your position coach. How much enticing did any of these guys do as you were weighing your decision?
Man, they was calling me, texting me, and telling me what can I bring to the team, and what can I bring to the defense. And the plan that they set out to me was a perfect plan. You know, I'm always that guy that's want to be the best and compete against the best. And like I said, the number one goal is try to get to the Grey Cup. So I feel like me coming to the team is just another weapon that the defense have.
Deontai, starting off with or going back to your early days playing football, you're born in Jacksonville, Florida. Just talk about when you started to play football, like when you picked it up, and were you a Jaguars fan, or was there any other idols you had growing up?
Football always been around for me. Me watching my dad play in the NFL. Then he went to the CFL, and that's what brought me into the CFL. His dream at Emirates, I can't even get the word out, but his dreams and stuff like that, to continue his dream and playing the CFL and see how fun it was, that what got me up to the CFL. But football always been a part of my life. I fell in love with the game since a young boy. If I was to say, football is life to me. Taught me a lot as a man to get through adversity and stuff like that. You got ups and downs, just like a football season. Some seasons you're going to be on top. Some seasons you're going to be at the bottom. So that's just like life. So I always been a football guy, football head.
Deontai, your collegiate career, you transferred to Nebraska. I was also reading that you had committed to Florida originally, but then ended up going to the Cornhuskers. Talk about how that whole path worked out, and were there any other schools that you were contemplating besides Nebraska?
Oh, yes. Growing up, I'm from Jacksonville. Gainesville is like 45 minutes away from where I'm from. Florida Gators always been my dream school to go to. It was a lot of coaching changes, getting recruited by Florida and stuff like that. And man, it just didn't work out. Long story short, how I got to Nebraska is crazy. I was in JUCO. I was in JUCO. It was my last year in JUCO, and my dad is like best friends with the DB coach at the UCF, and it was Coach Fisher, and I was supposed to take a visit to UCF because I had a choice: UCF or Nebraska to own a visit. But Nebraska wasn't in the picture yet. It was LSU, and it was an official visit. So that night, I had a choice: 6 o'clock in the morning, get on the plane to UCF. 9 o'clock in the morning, get on a plane to Nebraska. And the DB coach just stayed up with me, and we was just chopping it up, talking about what's my goals, what do I want to be, what do I strive to be. And he said he's one of the coaches that could get me to my full potential. So at that time, it was a no-brainer. Scott Frost called me. He was like, "Don't get on the plane to UCF," because I just accepted a job at Nebraska. And I was like, Nebraska? I was like, dang, I don't know too much about Nebraska because I always been a Florida guy. And man, once I got up there, man, them fans and the coaching staff, the board, the academics, it's just all family when you're in Nebraska. It's just all family. A very prestigious program. I just fell in love with that red and white.
Yeah, just expand on that. The whole game day vibe in Lincoln, Nebraska, is it? I think.
Yeah.
Just describe that. How passionate is it?
Man, them fans are diehard Nebraska fans because they ain't got no pro team, so it's just Nebraska Cornhuskers to them. So, man, when we losing, they always sell out the stadium, or when we winning, it's always a sellout. The fans are, like I said, they very family oriented. They treat the players like we celebrities already. It's nothing but love when you play for a team like Nebraska.
Any particular game or big play with the Cornhuskers stand out?
Oh yeah, us versus Michigan, my last year. It was a night game, and I got a pick. I got a pick in the end, almost towards the end of the third, just to tie the game up. It wasn't a pick six because I got tackled by a quarterback. Supposed to always block the quarterback once you get a pick, but my defense didn't help me on that part, so I got tackled by the quarterback. But I ended up helping the offense score, and we tied the game. And we almost won that game. We lost by a field goal at the end to the defensive end from the Lions, Hutchinson. He stripped the ball from our quarterback, and that was it. But that moment right there, the stadium was so loud when I got that pick. It was so loud, like bust your eardrums loud, that type of loud.
Yeah, those moments live with you for a long time. You mentioned briefly your father, Roosevelt Williams, a Chicago Bear, a Cleveland Brown after that. Played the 2006 season with the Edmonton Eskimos, as they were known then. And you had a story about how he was the one who kind of turned you toward pursuing the CFL. It was after you had been cut in Seattle, I believe. Expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, basically just me just trying to find another avenue just to keep playing the game that I love to play. I was just trying to look to see if I was going to stay here in America or go to the CFL. And when he brought that up to the CFL, he was saying he had a great time in the CFL and he never wanted to leave the CFL because how fun it was, how much he enjoyed it. And ever since I got to the CFL, I enjoyed it. I don't think I would go back to America because CFL it's just the same. The fan base, how the games played, just like it's just an enjoyment, an excitement, just the game that I love to play. So I appreciate the CFL and I appreciate the BC Lions for giving me an opportunity. I appreciate Saskatchewan for giving me my first opportunity. And I enjoy playing in Canada.
I saw your dad's he's coaching now, and he's kind of climbing the ranks too, right? I think he's with
he's
the
a coach for the New York Jets right now. DB
Yeah,
coach.
that's awesome. So obviously with him coaching, him being also a player in the NFL was I imagine growing up he taught you a lot about playing the game of football, being a defensive back, and all that. But do you guys kind of have a similar style? What kind of style was your dad, and what are you like?
I'm better than him. He was a very physical, big corner, just as me. But when it comes to physicality and versatility that I bring to the game, it kind of like it. I don't know how you would say it. It kind of like put me in a disadvantage of being a better DB than him. He don't want to hear that, but I'm telling you, like, he only played corner. I could play corner, safety, nickel, don't matter. Wherever I'm at, I could succeed in. So, but he taught me a lot with defensive back, playing the corner position. He taught me a lot playing the safety position. And that's what he wanted. He wanted me to be versatile. He didn't want me to just stick to one position.
Is physicality then something that's just in your genetics? Because that's something in your game you can definitely see too.
We love to hit. We love to hit.
Obviously, coming up in the CFL a couple of years ago now, the field is probably one of the biggest differences. It's something that you can definitely tell when you go to an NFL game. It looks like a miniature field compared to Canada. But is that something you enjoyed, or is that something that's been a hassle to having to cover all that space with all the receivers now?
Oh yes, I had to get used to it the first year, but once I got used to it, once I found my sway, my craft, I understood, like, okay, I don't have to run that far if I'm sitting here as a DB. You know what I'm saying? So it's just trying to know your feeding and all that. But the field was longer, but I got used to it, and that's come with the off season. If you don't know about the Canadian field and you're not ready for it, you got a long way. You got a long way, and you're gonna be tired. So
yeah. You kind of got thrown into the fire a little bit too in Saskatchewan too, right? I was reading that I think it was Nick Marshall suffered an injury. He was the starting cornerback at the time, so it led you to get your first start, right? What do you remember about that game?
Yeah, first start against Winnipeg. It was I had a great game. I think our coach, he was trying to go at me because it was my first game as Saskatchewan Roughfire. But I had a great game. I barely gave up any catches. Could have had a pick, but that game I was just being being physical, and I know Coach Pierce remember that game of me just hitting all his superstars that he had on that offense side of the ball. But it was a great experience, and I fell in love with it.
That's awesome that he's
the Canadian game.
Well, that's awesome that you and Coach Pierce are on the same side now. You don't have to have any of that.
Yeah, he no doubt remembers. Yeah, this has been great, but we got you for a couple minutes. Yeah, just kind of looking ahead to the task at hand here. You mentioned you can play anywhere. Is that kind of your mindset going into training camp here, Deontai? Willing to show out wherever they put you?
Whatever they put me, I'm always that guy just trying to just do what's best for the defense. If it's at half or if it's at corner or wherever it's at, I'm always going to excel at what I do and I try to be the best at what I do. So I don't like to just mark myself as a single position DB. I always wanted to value myself more as a DB, the word defensive back. I don't want to be a corner. I don't want to be a halfback. I just want to be a DB wherever you need me at.
And then practicing against the likes of Justin McInnis, Keon Hatcher, Barry Hill, Eberhardt, whomever, Katoy. That's just going to make you even better too, right? Going up against these playmakers every day.
Competing, just make each other better, make the team better. seeing us compete like that, and I'm just trying to have a show this season.
Deontai, while we got you for a little longer, we're middle of March right now, middle of the off season. What's keeping you busy? I know you got a family, so I imagine daddy duties, but is there any other hobbies you got going on right now?
No, just working out, being a father, watching film, honing on these plays and studying my playbook and just getting ready to have a show this season.
Love it. Hey, listen, this has been outstanding. We always love this time of year getting to know the new players, and you had an interception, I believe, in the Watermelon Smash game in July at BC Place, so we're looking forward to seeing that only in black and orange this time, and we look forward to meeting you in person. Thanks for the time, sir.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Awesome. See you in Kamloops, Deontai.
Yes.
Excellent stuff with both Micah Awe and Deontai Williams, and we knew what Micah was all about, but Deontai is going to be that guy, if all goes according to plan, sticks around, plays a big role. He's going to be a good media quote this coming year. I can sense it.
Yeah, the Winnipeg stuff with Coach Pierce. He wasn't afraid to admit that Coach Pierce may have been targeting him and had to come up to and rise to the occasion.
That's the stuff you love hearing. You like picking up these little nuggets, and I know they haven't. I think Matt Rule is kind of turning that program around, but Nebraska may not have won a whole lot, not had a whole lot of winning seasons lately, but that's still one of the top environments in college football just by watching it. You see the guys like with the plastic corn hats on their head.
Yeah.
I want to go to a game there maybe one
Very
time.
similar to Regina, Deontai was saying too, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe they didn't have the results they wanted in the wins-losses column, but Deontai was an All-American or All-Big Ten in 2020. So playing against schools like Ohio State and Michigan that he mentioned, he rose to the occasion there too.
All right, before we're out of here on this special edition, I want to alert our listeners and fans about a very cool contest. Lions in the Loops. Yes, heading back to Kamloops for training camp first week of May 7th to be precise. First years and veteran quarterbacks on the field at Hillside Stadium. You could win a chance for a getaway with a VIP training camp access. Now, along with hanging out with us, you can see what Nick Kowalski puts in his smoothie at lunchtime in the cafeteria. If you want to come out for a walk or a jog with me around the track, that's kind of cool too. But you're going to get a VIP access of the training camp routine. This also includes, there's more to it than just hanging out with us. I know you're waiting for the hook.
I would hope so.
3-day, 2-night hotel stay for two at the Prestige Hotel downtown. Nice spot. A $50 gift card to Insagani at the Prestige Hotel. A $50 gift card to Bravado Winery, a little wine and cider tasting. $50 gift card to the Kakuli Cafe. $100 at Bright Eye Brewing. I might come along for that if the winner would be so inclined to include us. $500 BC Lions merchandise gift card to be used online. And again, the priceless behind-the-scenes experience. You can come have a meal with the team, see what a practice is like, maybe talk to Coach Buck Pierce about what's on your mind about the team. Lions in the Loops is where you can enter. Just seek that out at bclions.com. Pretty cool prize.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of these places actually already. I went to
This is like the rotation for us every week.
Kakuli's a great indigenous bakery. Lots of good bannock there. And then Bravado I went to with Sean White and Keenan LaFrance in 2023. The cider is really good. I remember I was actually looking at the footage the other day, the Send It cider, if they still have it. That was definitely our top choice back when we went there.
Yeah, definitely gonna hit up Bright Eye for sure.
Yeah, Bright Eye is a good spot too. They got their arcade and everything. Yeah,
love it. All right, thank you, sir. Enjoy the rest of the week off. I know I will. And thanks to Micah and Deontai for joining us. We'll be back April the 9th, our next recording. 2 recordings to go before the 2025 CFL draft happening, along with the global draft at the end of April. Football is in the air. Can you feel it? Can you smell it? We can't wait. First and now, a presentation of World Vision Canada, and we'll talk to you in a couple weeks.